grab your snacks and grab a drink because I don't know how long this video is going to be. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you guys are new. For today's video, I'm going to be going over my compilation of story times that I have. You guys have asked for more story times on my channel, and I don't want to fabricate anything. I know that some people go a little bit overboard trying to dramatize things just to make it more entertaining on YouTube, but I never want to do that. I want to have real life experiences and real life things that have happened to me from my times working at ULTA and at MAC. If you guys didn't know, I worked for ULTA for about 5 years in total, and 3 of those years I worked for MAC. With MAC, it wasn't a standalone store, it was a boutique inside of an ULTA. I technically worked for MAC, but I was helping on the floor with ULTA's stuff because no other person was working in the ULTA section at that point in time. I was in the drugstore section and just asking somebody if they needed help finding anything, and this girl was like frantically running around like trying to grab stuff, and I just didn't know what was going on. She goes, "Hey, so I am getting hired by one of my friends to do a bridal party, so I'm doing the bride and 10 people's makeup in total." I think that people think that just because they have a friend that's really good at makeup, they can do somebody else's makeup as good. Bridal makeup is not the same thing as your everyday makeup. We cannot accomplish makeup in about 15 to 20 minutes. That's not the way that that works. Like, it takes me about 35 to 45 minutes for a makeup application and at least 45 minutes for the bride. The person apparently told her friend to begin with that she doesn't do makeup on other people and doesn't know how. And the bride's like, "Oh no, you do it so well on yourself, I trust you." I'm like, oh my goodness. And I understand that brides do this because they really want to save money. You're gonna run into a whole bunch of different things. You're gonna run into timing issues, you're gonna run into sanitary issues. Like, it is not the same thing doing makeup on yourself than it is on another person. So of course this girl's like really stressed out, and she's like, "Yeah, I have to make sure I have enough products that are pretty universal for everybody that I'm doing in the bridal party." I had to tell her to go to Sally's to go buy disposables for mascara and lipstick and everything because you cannot be using the same shit on everybody. And then I basically told her to Google sanitary or hygiene procedures at that point in time because it was a lot to go through. And after that, we grabbed a whole bunch of just like universal products. I asked her if she knew the skin tones of everybody, and she's like, "Yeah, I do. Most of them have like fair to tan skin tone." So I was like, okay, great. So I told her to get the lightest foundation and also about like the mid-tone range of the foundation, and then a couple of colors in between, and just kind of start mixing them to get the foundation colors. And I felt like I was literally trying to coach somebody on how to build a makeup kit on the go. I told her to get one mascara, just don't double dip, to get a clear lip gloss so you can put it on everybody. I hooked her up with one of like the L'Oreal or Maybelline like lipstick palettes, and then you can mix the clear lip gloss into that to create a custom color for people if they need gloss on top. Blush, bronzer, highlighter. I got her all a palette that had that all in one. I think it was like a Morphe like highlight and contour palette or something like that. And I told her to just spray everything down with 70% alcohol, which she would also have to get. And then I told her to make sure she is really honest with the bride of how long it's going to take you to do makeup. As a beginner, if you've never applied makeup on somebody else, it could take you upwards of an hour to an hour and a half on everybody. And I honestly think I just stressed her out even more after that conversation, but I just wanted her to be realistic and also have the bride be realistic about how long it's going to take and what all is involved in this. So if you are a bride and are thinking about having your friend do it and she doesn't actually do makeup as a profession, do not have her do makeup for you and your 9 bridesmaids because it is a lot to ask for somebody. It's a lot more than you think it is. So yeah, that is pretty much my really short story about that and how I was legitimately stressed out for that person. Hopefully she was able to accomplish that, and I'm kind of wondering to this day how it went. This is a really short one. When a woman came in, she actually was of Asian descent, so she specifically asked for somebody who either was Asian or somebody who knew how to work with Asian features. So naturally, your girl was called to do that. She signed up for a makeup lesson. So with MAC, if you do a makeup lesson or a makeup application, at the time you had to buy $65 worth of products. MAC employees do not make a commission by any means, so anything else on top of that was just going toward your sales goals, which you do have to hit every single day, but we're not like on commission, so it doesn't really matter if you buy anything else beyond the 65. So I'm going through this makeup lesson with this lady and everything is going super well. She loves how everything has turned out, and this lady, no joke, spends $500 worth of products. Cashier rings up everything that's checking her out, and she said to me afterwards that the lady was raving about me and she really liked what I did. She loves all the products that I suggested to her. So the next day I was working and this lady comes back in And she literally asked to return all of the $500 worth of products that I sold her the previous day. I just don't know. Like, it was just really weird. I went up to the cashier after she was done. The cashier's like, yeah, I told her that she at least had to have $65 worth of product. And she's like, well, I don't want any of it. And I'm like, okay, like, did she say anything about me, or was it like the products or something? And so she goes, yeah, she honestly didn't really give an explanation or something. She just said the products are not working for her. I feel like either A, she lied to me, or B, it was more so about the money, and after reevaluating when she got home, she just figured that she probably could spend the $500 other places. But it kind of seemed like to me that she was really rolling in the dough. I don't think that money was an issue, but at the same time, I'm probably overthinking it because that's literally what I do. She took home the $65 worth of products that she needed to like hit the minimum to do the application, and then literally left. I never saw her afterwards. She never came back in. It's super weird. I just don't know. Like, I really have no idea what happened. This girl came in and she said that she worked at a local strip club, which, literally not judging. If you guys saw my first story time, I had a really fun time with doing another stripper's makeup. For this one, this girl was not on ecstasy, and she was like this cute little blonde thing, really petite, and she came in and she said that they were having a theme night where they basically have one girl that's kind of like, I guess, like the head girl that night or something, and she was supposed to be dressed up like a Barbie doll. And you know what? I straight up transformed her into a Barbie doll. So I did pink eyeshadow, pink blush, and a really hot pink lipstick. At the time, to be fair, I was very inexperienced like doing makeup on other people. She said that she liked it, but I know I probably could have done better like technique wise. She actually did end up tipping me, which we technically weren't allowed to take tips, but I think being a stripper, she probably knew that tips were important. And that was my short story for that. And I saved the best for last because I feel like everybody thinks that I woke up one day and just had the skill set that I do as a makeup artist and have never messed up once in my life. I definitely did a ton of mistakes. Let me tell you, this is one of my mistakes that I did. I legitimately glued somebody's eyelids shut because I did not know how to apply false lashes. Let me preface this by saying, when I worked for MAC, you do get trained in your week-long training that you go to about eyelashes and how to apply them. On the very last day is when I was supposed to be learning about how to apply eyelashes, which I really wanted to learn how to do because I've never put eyelashes on anybody else at that point in time. However, since I was in Chicago, I had a flight that was booked that conflicted with the last hour of the training. So instead of me actually getting trained on eyelashes, I had to go catch a flight back to Fort Wayne. So basically that first week, I just did not know how to apply eyelashes on people, and people were calling in for makeup applications. And whenever I had somebody that needed eyelashes put on, I would usually just call my coworkers and have them put on the eyelashes, and I would just watch them, right? I was super nervous at first when applying eyelashes, and I feel like a bunch of you guys are too, which is why I make it clear that I didn't just start out like popping eyelashes on people and doing it perfectly. Like, that's not how that works. It's actually a skill by itself, and you have to be formally trained on doing it. Otherwise, this can happen. I just basically was really nervous to start at first, and I just was like, next time I'll do it, next time I'll do it, next time I'll do it. But luckily, I was always working with somebody else who knew how to do it. So there was this girl that came in one day that had her makeup done a couple of different times by my other coworker that did makeup flawlessly. But she also had been working for MAC for 8 years, and then the other one had been working for MAC for like 10. So I was underneath really seasoned MAC makeup artists at that point in time, which was really intimidating, by the way, considering that I had really never done like a full face of makeup besides just on the job training. So I was pretty much just learning from their techniques. So the reason that I am the way I am right now is because of these two. So before they had a chance to train me over how to put on false lashes, this girl came in that had already had her makeup done previously by the other artist that was really good, and of course expected me to be on the same level. And here's me like a couple weeks out of training and was like, yeah, like no problem. First of all, I apparently picked the worst style of eyelashes possible to try to put on somebody as a beginner. MAC lashes, if you guys don't know, are just very hard to work with in general. Like, hopefully they've stepped up their game now, but at the time it was like around 2014, 15, somewhere around that, where we're all in this like very glam makeup kind of stage and everybody does really dramatic lashes and dramatic contour and the whole entire thing. And this girl wanted like everything. Like she wanted the whole 9 yards with big lashes. So I picked a MAC lash style that was probably the hardest band to work with because it wasn't super flexible. Like it was really thick and not flexible at all. You couldn't really like wiggle it around. And I'm pretty much trying to copy what my other coworkers had showed me at that point in time. So I measured the lashes, I trimmed off from the ends, and I put the glue on. And we were working with Duo lash glue, by the way, which is really hard to work with. I don't know how people do it. Also at the time, my one coworker had told me to have people just close their eyes all the way and then stick on the lashes and then have them open. And then if anything was sticking, you can kind of just like use your pinkies and like pull down the lid. Technically it was really efficient if you knew how to do it correctly. Of course, I'm shaking, literally shaking, because I was so nervous to put these things on. My dumbass literally put on the lashes while her eyes are closed, and she opens her eyes and they're completely stuck to her lower lashes because I put on so much lash glue because the Duo lash glue was not drying down and it was not sticking. So I just kept adding more lash glue as an inexperienced makeup artist would do, you know? I told her to open her eyes and she legitimately couldn't. I felt so bad for this girl. Like she was sitting there and going, and I was sitting there going, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And I'm like trying to grab like cotton swabs and anything I could get and trying to literally separate every single strand of glue, but all of it was literally stuck, guys. I kid you not. It was the worst experience and I feel so embarrassed to this day, and I really wish that I could meet her again just to redo the whole entire makeup application with the skill set that I have now. Luckily, I kind of just talked my way out of it to the point where it was convincing enough for her to believe me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this has never happened before. I don't know what happened. Like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh no, it's all good. And she was like the sweetest soul. I felt so bad. I was really embarrassed. And eventually I got to the point where I unstuck all the glue and she could open her eyes all the way. And the poor thing's eyes were so red. Like I got glue in her eyes and then it was like all over her lids. The rest of the makeup looked fine, but it was just her eyelashes that looked a little wonky considering that I didn't put them on the right way. I had a huge gap in between where her lash line actually started and where the lashes were, because when you have people close their eyes all the way, you can't exactly see where their lash line is. So I stuck it literally above where her lash line was and then took a liquid eyeliner and tried to fill in where that separation was just so I could kind of mask it a little bit. And the worst part is she was actually going to an event after that. Let me just say that everything is a learning curve. Just know that you're gonna mess up. Like you're going to majorly mess up and make mistakes as a makeup artist, and you're not going to learn things unless you make mistakes. So as much as people want to try to watch videos and try to, you know, do things to prevent mistakes from happening, like you're going to make them. May not be as major as mine was, but you're going to make slight mistakes and errors on your part, and it's going to be your fault and you're going to feel super bad about it, but at least take everything as a learning experience and move forward with it. So if you guys really enjoyed, definitely go ahead and give me a big thumbs up, as well as also hitting that subscribe button. I do upload a ton of makeup artist related content, tips, vlogs, etc. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, then definitely subscribe to the channel. As always, I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. All right, bye.